Illustrations by Pete.
I am the worst product reviewer in the history of product reviews. I'm good for about 15 seconds. I'm talking about the product, I'm using the product, I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden I'm over here talking about a memory I had when I was 5 about a frog who was jumping on some mushrooms and made a friend with a squirrel. What does that have to do with anything? Maybe at the end I finally get back to it, but I'm usually saying like, oh yeah, it was interesting. I enjoyed the process. It was a fun video. It was a fun product to use. Yeah, that tells you a lot as someone who's looking to fork over your money for a product so you can use it and make sure it's the right thing. And I'm telling you it was fun. I wouldn't even watch that review. You know, there's other channels on YouTube, then they go through. They hold the product, they point to it, they smile, they show you how to use it, they point out all the features, and maybe tell you if it's light fast, the pigments that are inside, how to apply it, what to apply it on. That's not what you get with me. I can see it now. I'm going to get a product sponsored video, and they're going to send me the product and want me to review it. They're going to pay me money for it, and I'm going to review it. Don't worry, I'll be honest. And then as soon as the video goes up, I'm going to get a phone call, and they're going to say, you didn't talk about the product. I'm giving you money for you to talk about some bird that hit into a tree when you were 8 and how it made you laugh and your friends were having fun and playing a game. What are you doing? You think I'm lying? This is a product review video. Have I mentioned the product once? Have I done that yet? I don't think I have. Do you know what this video is even about? Which product is it a review for? Have I said it once? Have you seen it? I'm going to try and keep my focus for more than 15 seconds and do a product review for you. I'm so bad at this. Let's get into it. No promises. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. I promise I do not have any self-loathing happening here. I'm just having a little fun with a terrible day of recording. I recorded the intro the first time and forgot to turn on the mic. Then I stopped, I reset, and recorded it again, only I forgot to turn on the mic again. I forgot again. Then I recorded the first part of the drawing, and my lighting was great, and then it quickly went dark on me without warning. I don't know what happened. It's at night, so it's not like there's sun change or lighting in the room. Everything is exactly the same. Okay, so I've got to focus and talk about these pens. That's what I promised. That's what I'm going to do. So these are Posca pens. If you have never heard of them, you're probably crawling out from under a rock somewhere. These pens are amazing. They're paint pens. They are light fast. They're waterproof. They're just great all-around paint pen. And I did have a few complaints, but they are minor. First of all, this is not the first time using these. I've had them since around 2018 or so. They have sat in a drawer. I forgot to swatch them out. I'm damn it, sorry. I missed that. I was supposed to swatch these out so you could see the colors. I'm going to throw a picture of the swatches and the colors up here so you could see them at least for a second and just see the colors that I have. So these sat in a drawer for a couple of years. When I took them out, it only took a quick but vigorous shake and a pump or two on the tip, and they worked like they were brand new. So there's no complaints for that. It doesn't matter, well, at least in my experience, for years I've left them. And I did use them originally so the tips could have dried a little bit, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They work great. The only complaint was the red, or at least one of the two. The red was a little less opaque. It could have used, but it could have been a user error also. It could have used a little bit more opaqueness to it. But maybe I didn't, I know sometimes on these you have to shake them up really well, and maybe I didn't do that enough, and maybe they were a little bit liquidy, a little bit watery, and that's why they weren't so opaque. But really, it was probably user error, to be honest with you. So I used the 1MR, the 1M, the 3M, and the 5M tip size. All of them were awesome, except for the 1M. Okay, so here's the big complaint. The 1M was almost unusable for this application. And again, it has to do with the way that you use it. The tip kind of scuffled around and snagged on the surface too much, and it spit a little bit of paint. So I only used it for about a second, and then I go back to the 1MR. The 1MR is a pleasure to use. It is, it's like a fine liner, but with paint. It works great. No problem at all. And I did read that it might be because that particular one, the 1M, needs to be used only going in one direction. If you go against the grain of the pen and you write like you would with a normal pen, it skips a little bit. I have heard that. But I would just use the 1MR. It seems to be the same size. There's more control. Of course, you can't turn it on the side and get a little bit fatter. But they have the 3M, which works great and doesn't skip around and spit everywhere. Or at least it didn't for me. So that's really the only complaint that I had. They did everything I expected them to do. I know there are brands that are trying to challenge them out there, but I'd have to wait and see if they were better. I don't know why you'd need better. They're already pretty perfect for what they are. I know some other ones, you know, like I said, a little bit cheaper, maybe they would work, but these are just amazing. So I'll leave that up to you. You do what you want to do, but I will probably stick with Posca paint pens. Unless there's a couple of colors maybe that I want from a different brand, I might get those. But for the most part, these are great. They just worked. Oh, there I go again. Oh yeah, they're good. It was fun. It was a fun time. Alright, so that brings me to a very interesting point. Do you think you can trust the reviews on YouTube? I mean, we aren't you, right? Most of the time we suck. The only thing we can really do is tell you how well the product works for us and our like crazy methodology for creating whatever things we do. There's a really big YouTuber, or at least big art YouTuber, you know, big for art YouTubers, whatever. And she uses Liquitech Basics acrylic paint. And it's artist quality as far as light fastness, but with that paint pigmentation, the load is so small that you have to use layer after layer after layer after layer. So the way that she uses it, it works for her because that's how she paints. But most other YouTubers, they call that paint garbage. And they use that Liquitech's professional version of acrylics because it has a higher pigment load and you can use less layers to achieve the result. I can't tell you if this is going to work for you and what you're doing and how you do it. I can show you some objective characteristics of a product, but only your experimentation can really tell you if it's good for you. Can you find a way, even if it takes you maybe working a little differently than normal, but can you find a way to get the results that you want? That is really the question. Maybe you find a way that's better for you. I've seen people create beautiful art from crap supplies. That doesn't mean that they're good supplies. It means that that artist has figured out a way to overcome the shortcomings of that product. That's what they did. They found a way to create something good from garbage. And it doesn't make the product good, not even a little. Crayola colored pencils are not good enough for you to produce work and then sell that work to someone who will then put it up on their wall and watch every day as the colors fade and the printer paper that you use turns yellow and, you know, in 6 months. That doesn't mean you didn't create something beautiful with it. It's just that it's not artist grade product, and that's not it's not what it's designed for. You know, use the products that are made for your project. Otherwise, you'll be frustrated and you'll think that people lied to you about the product. Or and as a side note, I always hear people telling you, use what you have. But, you know, if you learn to draw with Crayola colored pencils for 3 years and you get good at it, and someone gives you something like Derwent drawing pencils, you'd probably need to learn how to use those pencils all over again. That's like saying, I paint with watercolor, so that means if I get some oil paint, I can use them no problem. That's not true. They're used differently. The way that you apply them is different. The method and how they work will be very different. So it's not that one's better than the other. They're different products altogether. You picking up what I'm laying down? So just know, when you watch a product review on YouTube, just remember they are reviewing the product according to their own eccentric way of doing art. And that's like, you know, it's like being in the market for a unicycle, and then you watch a video of a magician's parrot riding a unicycle across a tightrope, and you think to yourself, hey, that must be a good brand of unicycle because that famous magician has bought one for their parrot, and they seem to enjoy it. You are not a bird. Now, we can offer some important information like, hey, I think this company may be misleading you with their marketing, or maybe they have questionable light fastness or something like that, and we need to educate you on that kind of thing that we've done. But look, I know YouTubers say that all the products they review get their honest opinion, but I would say yes, okay, I can say that for me, my integrity, and say, yeah, I will give you an honest review of the product, whether I'm being paid to or not, or whether I'm being paid to review it or not, or whether it was given to me or not, or whatever the case is. But a lot of YouTubers, I don't know, I can't talk for them. And so if someone is offering to pay them, how do you know that you can trust that they're being 100% honest? The company approaches them and says, hey, here, we're going to give you some money to show this to people, and then they use that money to buy some food so they didn't need to starve anymore. They probably want that company to come back to them and offer them more money so they can keep eating, right? So that there's another agenda to showing the product. Maybe, I don't know. Do you know, I can't tell unless I buy the product on their say-so, and then I need to throw it out the window because it sucks. But then they have a built-in excuse, right? Because maybe that product works for them the way that they work, but my awkward rear end cannot figure it out. That's just not how I work, so I can't put that on them, right? And then there's the whole thing where YouTubers usually have no real idea about the products that we're actually reviewing, and this is the truth. Now, I know there's a lot of products that have transferable skills, so if I know how to use watercolor and there's a new watercolor paint on the market, my advice might be sound advice. I know how to use that product like watercolor. But someone may send something to an artist. Not to me. I need to get a P.O. box so someone can send me something. Please. Okay, so they get the package and they open it. And sometimes they're opening it on camera. They act like they're a pro with this product. They're like they've been using it for 10 years. They don't really know what the hell they're doing with it. But they're going to act like they do, because that's what they do. Especially people who get like the first time product from a company before they're available to the public. Don't pretend you know what you're doing with that thing. You haven't even seen that thing until 15 minutes ago when it came in the mail, and you quickly had to get a video recorded so you could be the first video out on YouTube and keep yourself relevant, and also so you can bill your client and keep eating. And don't get me wrong, I like eating. I've become accustomed to it, and everyone has to earn a living. I'm not getting down on YouTube artists. I'm just saying to pull back the curtain a little. You just need to know what you're doing before you try to indoctrinate others with your small brain knowledge. Use products on a few projects and get a feel for it before you tell everyone else to buy it. Myself, on the other hand, I don't care about status or money. You can ask anybody. I'm broke. I live in a gutter. I can afford to skip a meal once in a while. If I see something that sucks, I'll tell you it sucks. I'll tie it to a bumper and drag it around and then set it on fire so no one else has to be subjected to it. It doesn't matter to me. No one's sending me anything anyway. Oh man. You know I'm probably ruining my own career before I even get started. No one's going to send me anything now. No companies are going to want to pay me to promote their stuff. I should probably shut up. But I stand by it. If I think it's crap, I'll call it out. And don't worry, art company, it's probably me who just doesn't know how to use the thing anyway. These people know that. They know. They've seen my struggles with less. Alright, we get back to this review before I lose my whole audience. No one's watching anymore. Everyone's clicked off. I suck at this. Please don't fire me. Okay. So what I did with this was, here's what I did. I sprayed this thing. I love these panels. I love these cradled panels. They're great to use, especially for paint pens. It's just any kind of acrylic paint or paint pens. It's just a wonderful thing. And so I sprayed it with polyacrylic a few times. There's a few layers on there. Polyacrylic gets a little bit rough by itself. You don't actually have to sand it, especially when you do it wrong like I do. It gets kind of weird and bubbly, and sometimes not to the point where it's flaking off, but it's a little rough on the surface, and I'm not sanding it, so there's plenty of tooth for that paint to stick, and I really enjoy using those for anything like that. So I did that, and then I painted on here. These worked out great. They work exactly the way that I wanted them to, except for that 1M, which I'm just never going to use that size again. I'll use every other size. The 1MR I will use, and those will be wonderful, and it'll do everything I need it to do. So these Posca paint pens, they're top of the line. They're light, fast, they're waterproof. You can't really ask for any more in a paint pen. That's what they are. That's what they do. And they are just the king of that. The Mitsubishi Uni Company, they have mastered the paint pen, and it is called Posca. Okay, well, thank you for watching this. I appreciate you spending some time with me. I will go ahead and throw a couple more videos up here on the screen, and you can watch those and spend some more time with me if you'd like. I would like that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.